Masechet Yevamot Daf Tzadi Amud Aleph 90a1. Says the Gemara. We were talking about, right, the concept of that this girl, that she was a ketana, is considered a mitzvah for her husband, because even though technically the father should have come and he should have done the burial because it was coming upon the father or upon her family, but since the husband is the one that's going to be inheriting her, right, because that was a din d'Rabbanan, so therefore all of a sudden there was no family members to be found in order to come and to bury her. So therefore she is considered a mitzvah to the husband. Now the Gemara starts here on the top of Tzadi Amud Aleph. Ve'ochelet beginot truma, and she's going to come and eat truma because of this, right, marriage, this union. Now remember, we're only talking about the din d'Rabbanan, right? So how could it be? How could it be that this yitoma? Because remember, who married her off? It was the mother and the brother, and that's why it's the Rabbanan. If it was a father, it would have been Doraita. So says the Gemara, the reason why she can eat truma is because it's truma the Rabbanan. So therefore, don't bring me a proof, right? That really bemet she said that they're allowed to come and to be the to put an isur in their takana. It's truma the Rabbanan. So therefore, the rabbis had the right to come and say she's allowed to eat truma the Rabbanan. Truma Doraita, for sure that there can be a ker mashlu Torah and tell her that she could eat something which is Doraita. Okay, fine. We're going to now bring another proof, and this is the Tashema. How do we know that Chachamim have the power Torah in order that means to prove something from the Torah in order to have their gizirot? So Tashema, right? We're going to bring a proof. Achal truma b'temeah. Imagine right now a person comes and he ate truma temeah b'shogeg. Right now, what happens is that it was truma temeah, it wasn't truma teorah, it was tameh. So Mishalem, he has to pay the Kohen that which he ate, chulin teorim. He has to pay chulin teorim. Shilem chulin tmeim. Now, if he paid something which is tameh instead of tahor, remember, chulin is mundane food, meaning not truma, regular food, right? If he paid though chulin tmeim, Sumchu says, Mishum Rabbi Meir, in the name of Rabbi Meir, b'shogeg. If he did it b'shogeg, which means that he didn't know that it was tameh, tashlumav tashlumin. So it's a good payment. But if he did it purposely, and tashlumav tashlumin, it's not a good payment, right? Why? Because the Chachamim, they gave a knas that they said that it's not a good payment. Why? What are you paying chulin to me? You have to pay something which is tahor. So therefore, knas. Chachamim omenim, Chachamim say, echad zeh ve'echad zeh. Doesn't matter whether it's going to be perot tmeim, whether it was shogeg or mezid. Says the Gemara, tashlumav tashlumin. What does that mean, tashlumav tashlumin? It's a good payment. But yeah, he has to pay again. So we ask the question, b'mezid and tashlumav tashlumin. He says, what if it was done b'mezid? It's not going to be tashlumin. Tavo ala bracha, right? He should have a bracha. Why? He paid back. He paid back even something better. So he says that one second. He ate from the Kohen something that you cannot eat even when he's tameh. Because truma tmeah you could never eat. Because the truma is tameh. The truma means that the food is tameh. If the food, by one of the creepy crawlers or whatever it is, or truma tmeah, whatever it was. So therefore, if the truma is tmeah, you can never eat it. Okay, because it's on the truma, it's not on the human being. But when he's paying back chulin tmeim. Chulin tmeim, you are allowed to eat it, right? When you are tameh, you could eat it. The truma, nobody could eat it. Truma tmeah, you can't eat. But the chulin tmeim, you could eat it. So therefore, what are you talking about? He's paying back something even better. The Amar Rava. Rava says, some people say it was Kadi that said it. You're right. We're lacking part of the bright time. This is the way that you're supposed to read it. Achal truma tmeah. Imagine right now you are a stranger. You're not a Kohen. And you ate truma tmeah. So mishalem kol du. You have to pay back, right? Whether it's tahor or tameh. Achal truma teorah. If you ate truma tehorah, mishalem chulin teorim. So here you have to pay chulin teorim. She writes shilem chulin tmeim. But if you pay tmeim, Sumchu says the name of me b'shogeg tashlumin tashlumin mezid tashlumin. It don't depend shogeg or mezid. If it was shogeg, it's a good payment. If it's mezid, it's not a good payment. Chachamim say, it's always a good payment. But you have to pay him again. Which means, what does it mean it's a good payment? Whatever you paid, it's already the Kohen's. you have to pay again. Okay, that's a shita of chachamim. So now let's bring the proof from the right. Here, midoraita tashlum imanya. Here, mina Torah, when you came and you paid back with chulin tmeim, that was a good tashlumim. It's at the end of the day, it's money. Meaning, if you're going to come, you're going to take something which is tameh, but it's chulin tameh, right? A piece of bread, not truma, piece of bread. It was tameh. You come and you give it now to the kohen. Midoraita, it's a good payment. The kohen will come and do kiddushim with this. Yeah, it's a good kiddushim. Rabbanan come and they say, and tashlumat tashlumin. It's not a good tashlumin, and therefore they don't belong to the kohen. Are you going to come and tell me now that you're permitting the woman to the shuk? Right now, this kohen comes and he takes this and he gets married to a woman with it. Remember that nowadays it became a minhag to do with the ring. In the olden days, they could have done it with a bamba. Yeah, fruta, anything. Even food. Right? Right? But tapuah. Right? Kedam Moshe Israel. Take this, huh? Yeah, the bamba. Whatever you want, you can do with it. You understand? So therefore, the question is, you're going to come and you're going to permit this woman to the marketplace. If payment, it's a good midoraita, it's a good payment. If it's a midoraita, good payment, right? And everything. So why in the world are you going to permit this woman to the shuk? So answers the Gemara, my answer, what do you mean that it's not a good payment? To come and me, to buy the shalom, you have to pay back. Chulin teorim. Really, be'emet, the first ones are a shayach to the kohen, but you have to pay back again. Right? That means you have to give a double, it's like a double payment. That's what it is. It's not that the first payment is not a good payment. The first payment is a good payment, because that's midoraita, but you still owe the money. Why? Because we give you a knas, a penalty, because you paid with chulin tmeim. So says the Gemara, if so, sumchus saynu rabbanan. So it's the same shita then. Sumchus rabbanan. We said two different opinions. We said the opinion of, right, sumchus in the name of Rabbi, and then we brought down the opinion of chachamim umrim. Now, if you're going to tell me now that it is a good payment, but you have to pay back again, that's chachamim. That means sumchus and Rabbi is like chachamim. What's going on there? So says the Gemara, Amar Vacha Beredavika, Kansu Shlogeka to Mezid. No, you're right. It's the same halacha, but the difference is going to be b'shogeg. Meaning, do we give a knas by a shogeg? Meaning, if somebody comes in by accident, they paid back something which was tameh. Do we give them a knas or not? If it was b'mezid, of course we give them a knas. Nothing what to talk about. What about b'shogeg? So therefore, he comes and he says this. He says, right, according to Rabbi Meir, if you paid with perot tmeim b'shogeg, there was no knas, right? And therefore, you don't have to pay back anything else. But according to Chachamim, right, even b'shogeg, you have to pay back again. Why? Gezerah, maybe you're going to do it b'mezid. So therefore, the rabbis were the ones that made this gezerah, shogeg atu mezid. Okay, fine. Next proof. Tashima, we're going to try to bring another proof. Here we're talking about the blood of the korbanot that became tameh, and it was thrown on the mizbeach. Dam shenitma uzrako. What happens now if you have the blood of a korban that became tameh, and the kohen threw it on the mizbeach? Bishogeg, if he threw it on the mizbeach and it was shogeg, and even though it was tameh, hurtza. The korban is a good korban. But if he did it b'mezid, lo hurtza. It's not good. Meaning a person comes right now b'chavana. He already knows it becomes korban. He's not going to bring the blood. He takes the blood, boom, he sprinkles it on the mizbeach. Not a good korban. Bring another one. Yeah, that's what's brought down. So says the Gemara over here. To midoraita arutsuya meratze. He says 1 second. Midoraita arutsuya meratze. Right? We saw this lashon of leratzot alamayim. Where do we see this? Leratzot alamayim. Tani bet amubet. We said leratzot alamayim. Very good. Bet amubet. Leratzot alamayim. The arba minim leratzot alamayim. Leratzot. So here it says, here midoraita artsuye meratze, meaning mina Torah, it's going to be meratze. That means even if it was done b'mezid, it's going to be okay. Why? Because the Kohen Gadol has a tzitz, and this tzitz, which is the head plate with the name of Hashem on his head, on his forehead, is going to be meratze, even if it was. So he says, so if it's going to come and it's going to be meratze, so what's going on? The Tanya was going to write a ma tzitz meratze. On what is the tzitz meratze? Aladam velabasar on blood, meat, and the chelev, prohibited fats. Shenitma, that became tameh. We're talking about the korbanot. What was shogeg b'mezid? Ben me'onez b'ratzon, whether it was willingly or forced mature. Ben b'yachid tzibur, doesn't matter whether it's korban yachid or korban tzibur. Ve'amri Rabbanan, and the rabbis say lo hurtza, right? It's not going to be hurtza if it was done mezid. The kahadar me'ayel chuli lazara, and it comes out that you're going to bring another korban, which is chuli lazara. So the question is, you're being over in isur doraita. How could it be if right now midoraita it is a good korban, even if it was done mezid? So now, if I'm going to come and tell you, you know what, it's not a good korban, bring another one. So what are you doing now? What's happening now is all of a sudden you're going to have to come and you're going to bring chuli lazara. What does it mean, chuli lazara? You're bringing something which is mundane to lazara. What are you doing? You can't do that. So now says the Gemara, Amar Rabbi Yosef bar Chanina, says Rabbi Yosef bar Chanina, my lo hurtza de Kamar. What does it mean when it says in the right the lo hurtza? La'atir basar ba'achila, to permit the meat of the korban. Aval be'alim nitkapru bo, be'emet ba'alim they get a kapara. Meaning there's going to be a difference between whether you could eat the korban, right, or you have to bring another korban because your korban was not good. So therefore, the korban was okay. So therefore, the korban that you brought was okay, but the eating of the korban, you're not allowed to eat the korban. So says the Gemara, kamit akra achilata basar. 1 second, but because of your gezerah, right? Meaning, if you're going to tell me that everything was good, and now the rabbis are the ones that say that you can't eat it, so fine, you don't have to bring another chuli lazara, you don't have to bring another korban, but you're not eating the meat. Uchtiv, and it's written, ve'achelu otam asher kupar bahem. You have to eat the korban that was as atonement for you. The fact that the Kohen can eat your korban, that itself is going to be a kapara. So therefore, if you're telling now the Kohen that you cannot eat it, you're stopping the kapara. So says the Gemara, Elmaleh comes and says, Sheval taseh sham. Yeah, but 1 second. When the rabbis are putting something from the Torah, it's a Sheval taseh. Sheval taseh means sit down and don't do anything. If I tell you sit down and don't do anything, it's much different than a kumbase. Kumbase means get up and do something. That's something to do. Here I'm just telling you, just don't do it. Doing something is not as strong as doing something. Said person that just doesn't do anything. What are you doing? Nothing. Okay, but that's better than doing something. Okay, because once you get up and you do something, it's much more powerful. Sadi Hamubet. Elmaleh. He comes and he says, Be'ai neotmut. Right? I wanted to ask you about Anarel, Haza'ah, Vizemel, Besitzit, sorry, Sadin Besitzit, Kivse Atzeret, Shofar, Velulav. I was going to ask you one after another. What about Anarel? What's Anarel? Again, this is Mitkayen, it does bring Milah Erev Pesach. According to Bet Hillel, it cannot be Mitkayen in the the Torah Korban Pesach because of the Tumah that the Chachamim put on the Gerim when they were Mitkayen. Haza'ah. What about Haza'ah? Chachamim come and they prohibit it. Why? The one that's doing the Mechatat, that even though because of this he cannot become, right? Tamet, he cannot bring the Korban Pesach. Izemel, what's the Izemel? The Sakin of the Brit Milah. Chachamim say that you're not allowed to be Metantel in the Shabbat during the Rishut Rabbi, right? And then you're going to have to do it. You're not going to be able to do it on Shabbat. You would have to do it the next day. Sadin Metzitzit, right? The Beged Lishtan, the Chachamim come and they said that it's Patur of Tzitzit, even though Mina Torah, it's Chayav Tzitzit. Kivsei Atzeret, right? When you have the now Shavuot, think about it. This is actually Shavuot stuff. Yeah, think about it. This Sunday now. Yeah, Kivsei Atzeret. What is Kivsei Atzeret? When you have the sheep of Shavuot, you're going to do Shechita Shelo Lishman. Means that you're not allowed to throw the blood on the Mizbeach. And here it's saying if it came out on Shabbat, if Shavuot came out on Shabbat, right? Even though there's a mitzvah to throw the blood, you don't do it on Shabbat. Shofar, right? You don't do it on the first day of Rosh Hashanah, even if it's going to come out on Shabbat. Lulav. Now, so therefore, all these things, I was going to ask you, how could Chachamim come and be okay? But now, Hashta Deshanila, now that you just answered to me, Sheval Taseh, that it's a different thing, but it's Sheval Taseh, Lo Miakaru, so he's not being okay. Kulunami Sheval Taseh. So now we just answered up all these questions. Meaning, I was going to ask you, how can it be that in Mina Torah you're obligated to Lulav, and now the rabbis come and they approved something from the Torah, and they say, don't take the Lulav in the Torah when it comes out on Shabbat. Answer is Shevat Taseh. Shevat Taseh is okay. Because it's not being okay with a kumbase. You're not uprooting something, getting up and uprooting it. It's Shevat Taseh. Shevat Taseh just means don't do something. If you don't do anything, that's fine. Don't do it. That's fine. So Tashema, we're going to try to bring another proof now. Elav Tishmaun. We're talking about a Navi Emet. And it says by the Navi Emet, you listen to the Navi. Elav tishma'u. Afilu omer lecha, even if he's going to tell you over al chamikol mitzvot Torah, right? That you're going to be over one of the mitzvot Torah. For example, Eliyahu bar Carmel. There, he went and he told them to bring a korban outside of the Beit HaMikdash. Now, Eliyahu and Navi, but at the end of the day, that's approving something from the Torah. So he says, everything is according to the hour. Shemalo, you will listen. Why? Because there, you see from here that he's allowed to approve something from the Torah. And you will listen to him. And that's what they did. They brought the korbanot outside of the Beit HaMikdash. Answers the Gemara. Shane Hatam, it's different over there. Meaning the Torah itself told you to listen to him. So if the Torah told you to listen to him, he's not approving something with the Torah because the Torah told you to listen. You understand? Because it's not that just Chachamim come and they say, you know, the Torah says A, we want to say B. But if the Torah also said A and the Torah said listen to the Navi Emet, even though he's going to say something against the Torah, so then that's also listening to the Torah. So there's no problem. But yes, yeah. The ligmar mine. So why don't we just learn, right, from there? Chachamim have the power to do so. So says the Gemara, no. There he was going to make a gather in order that the people shouldn't sin. So it's a different halakha. It's not just stam like that. They're making a gather. There it says over here, he was trying to get the people to do teshuvah from Achrei Baal and so on and so forth from Avodat Zarah. So therefore it was going to be permitted. Tashema, another proof. Bitilo. Imagine right now a husband sends a get, right? A husband sends a get to his wife. And then after sending it to his wife, yeah, he comes and he annuls the get. So bitilo mevutal, it's going to be mevutal. Even Rabbi, these are the words of Rabbi. Rashbag Omer says, you cannot be batel it. You cannot add on the condition. You can, if so, imagine right now, the guy wanted to be evil. What does he do? He comes, he sends a get. So she's already so happy. The get's on the way. It's in the mail. All of a sudden, he goes to the nearest bedi. He announces it. So all of a sudden, it's not a good get. Imagine, you know what it is. And by the way, people do it. Don't think they do it. Well, so that's a machloket. Rabbi says that he could do it, and Rashbag says he cannot do it. Right? Which one? So it says the Gemara, right? So there's a machloket. Basically, the guy comes to also annul the get. And after annulling the get, it's going to be a problem. So now he's going to say like this. Over here, midoraita batela get. Midoraita, the second the husband comes and he annuls the get, it's a get batel. I don't understand. Midoraita, the get is batel. Why? The husband annulled the get. All of a sudden comes Rashbag and he says, no, but it's not annulled. Why is it not annulled? Because if not, what's the strength of Bedin? Because of the strength of Bedin, you're going to tell a married woman that she's permitted to go to the marketplace? But she's married. She's married. And the get was batel. So says the Gemara, no. Mate mekadesh, adata de Rabbanan mekadesh. When you get married, what do you say? You say, what does it mean, Kedat Moshe Israel? Like Moshe and Israel, which means that the marriage is done according to the rabbis. And therefore, since the marriage is done according to the rabbis have the power to uproot the marriage. And therefore, the marriage was never there. So therefore, here, even though you're right, that the get is batel, but since the rabbis could uproot the marriage, it was never a marriage. So Manusha, either you're going to tell me that the get was batel or not batel, and even if it was not batel, there was no marriage, so you don't need to get. So that's why it helps that they could say that it's still going to be a good get and kilu that she could come and get married now. So Amaleh Ravina Rashi says Ravina to Ravashi, Hate nach the Kaddish Bekaspa. That's only good if she was Mekadesh with money, right? Why? Because she gave money. Now you're going to say, that's it, it's good. Kaddish Bavia Michael, but what happens if they have relations? What happens if the form of the acquisition was not done through money? He had relations with her. And through the relations, he acquires her. And what are you going to do there? Says the Gemara, the rabbis made that biyah that he had was not a biyah for acquisition of kiddushin, but rather it was biyah snut. It was just some promiscuity. It was nut. So since it was nut, the rabbis had the power of doing that, and therefore what happens is that now this guy just had snut. He never actually got married to her. Okay? Says the Gemara, Tashima, we're going to try to bring another proof now. Amar Rabbi Elazar ben Yaakov says, Rabbi Elazar ben Yaakov, Shamati shebedim makim monshik shlo min haTorah. I heard that the bedim could come and punish, whether it's going to be to give lashes or even death, certain times when the Torah is not obligated. We're not even talking about to be over on the Torah. To make a siyag for the Torah. For example, there was a story of a guy that he started riding on a horse on Shabbat during the time of the Greeks. They brought him to Bedin, and they killed him for being Mechalel Shabbat. It's only Surah Rabbanan. It's not Doraita. So why did they kill him then? Because there was already a pritzut and a prutzim and averot, and therefore they had to do something to scare the people. And since they had to do something to scare the people, they were obligated to do such a thing. Right? Because again, the guy was not chayavita. Riding a horse on Shabbat is not a doraita, it's a rabbanan. But the fact that he did it and they had to put their foot down, they went and they killed him. And they were allowed to do that. So says the Gemara, there was another story. There was a person that came and he had relations with his wife underneath the fig tree. So imagine in public, he had relations with his wife. They brought him to Bedin, they gave him lashes. Not because it's fitting for that, because they needed to do that. Which means that you see from here, right, that the rabbis have the power to even punish, even if midoraita or whatever it is, it's not like that. So answers the Gemara, no. Here it's to make a gader. Here it's in order to make a fence around it to protect. So that you're allowed to do. That for sure the rabbis can do. Fine. Next. Okay? 2 dots. The Gemara says, we were talking about again, we're going back to the Mishnah where the Mishnah says that the woman got married to an Ed Echad, right? To the second husband. And all of a sudden the first husband walks back from the dead. Yeah, he comes back alive. Yeah, and now you have a problem. So what do we say? Neither of the husbands, if they were Kohanim, they could become Tametur. So either husband, they were both Kohanim, right? Or even if one of them, doesn't matter whichever one it is, nobody could become Tametur if she died. Remember, usually a Kohen becomes Tametur for one of the 7 relatives. And one of those 7 relatives is She'ero, which is his wife. So here though, it's not, that's it, he can't become Tametur. And now how it says in a pasuk, the never more says She'ero. Even it says in a pasuk, yes, Baal Shemitame, Baal Shemitame. Says that it's lechalo. What is lechalo? To become a halal through it, to become itchalel. So therefore, he says sometimes the husband could become tameh, sometimes the husband cannot become tameh. Haketzer, what's the case? He could only become tameh to his wife if she's kshira to him. He cannot become tameh to a wife which is psula to him. For example, a zonah. So for the same thing here, the rabbi is prohibited her and the husband becoming tameh to her because it's kilu that she was a surate, right? Here she was a surate both. Neither husband are going to be zoche in her findings of whatever she finds, right? Of lost objects. What's the reasoning why whatever a woman finds belongs to the husband? That way there's not going to be eva. Imagine right now a woman finds $10,000. Right? She comes home, I found $10,000. The husband says, okay, Baruch Hashem, I needed to pay back the, I don't know what loan. Thank you very much. Pass it over? No, it's mine. What's he going to do? Yeah? Yeah, right, left, center, you know. It's going to cause animosity. Why? I don't understand. I have to feed you. I have to redeem you if you get captured. Right? You got to be careful, yeah? And you have to cure you, I have to bury you, everything. And now you're going to tell me now, right, that whatever you find is yours. Because of that animosity, it belongs to the husband. Yeah, whatever finders keepers is she's the finder, he's the finders, he keeps it. Yeah, she says the Gemara here to have an event and not the opposite. We want that there should be a we want that there should be animosity between them in order that he should divorce her. So the opposite, we want it. That's why each husband doesn't get whatever she finds. Remember what happened, because what happened was she got married to the second husband. Now she becomes permitted for the 2 husbands. We're still in our Mishnah. Right?
Found the money when she's with the second husband.
She found the money after being with the second husband. Now we come and say she keeps it. Why? She says no. No, the first husband came back from the dead. He has to come back from the dead. And now all of a sudden she finds out the next day, she comes and she finds money. So says the Gemara, she keeps it. Why? Because we want that there should be animals. We want that both husbands should get rid of it.
How does the do it? One rule when you're in this situation, one rule when you're in this situation.
Right? What about her money? Right? Whatever she makes, what she works. What was the reasoning why the rabbis say that whatever she works goes to the husband? Because he has to support her. If he has to support her, so whatever she makes goes to him because he has to support her. But over here, she doesn't get mezonot, so it doesn't belong to him because he doesn't have to support her. Next, neither of the husbands can do a farat nedarim. Why did he say that? That a husband could do a farat nedarim in order that she doesn't get to become disgusting. Because, for example, she cannot prohibit herself, whether it's not to bathe, to put on makeup, to put on adornments. Right? Imagine a woman comes and she says she wants to cause her husband suffering. What does she say? A neder, she's not taking a bath. Yeah? Lucky the husband. Yeah, so what's going to happen? It's going to be a problem. So therefore, he's allowed to do a farat nedarim. Why? We don't want her. That she's going to come, you know what, I'm going to make a neder, I'm not going to be a diet. Yeah? Hatara is through a rabbi. Hafara is through the husband. Hatara, you have to ask a rabbis, or the three rabbis, or one that's a chamuche. And what happens is that when they ask, there has to be a petach to another, which means that there has to be a reason why you have to find charata, you have to find something in order to know. Hafarat nedarim, you don't need anything. It's le'afer, hafarat, right? Hafara is done retroactively, but it can never exist.
But the husband can hafara for her?
Of course. Surah. Father for the daughter and the husband. No, he does hafara. It's stronger. Hafara nedarim is even stronger than hafara. I told you that. It's her neder. He's allowed to annul it. He does annul it. Of course. It's stronger than hafara nedarim. Hatara nedarim usually is bikarun haba. Hafara nedarim is retroactive, right? Not from now on. Hafara nedarim does not need any remorse. She could still be that she wants to do 100%. Hafara nedarim, boom, he annuls it, doesn't care. Nothing can solve it. Doesn't matter, but now the neder is away. Now she has no neder. Understand? So
no one says,
here we want her to be mitganeh al bala. Meaning, if she's going to make a neder, we want that the husband should not be able to do a farat nedarim in order that he should get rid of her. Right? Next. Right? Aita bat Yisrael, she was a bat Yisrael, she becomes disqualified from the kehuna. Says the Gemara Pshita, it's going to be obvious. Yeah? It's obvious.